Okay, what we've got to talk about now are organic reactions part 2. What we're doing here are redox reactions and dehydration, synthesis, hydrolysis. Now, what a redox is reduction and oxidation. So an oxidation is lowered energy. So if something is rusting, it is oxidizing. If something's being reduced, it's made into higher energy. So when you're reduced, you gain bonds to hydrogen or lose bonds to oxygen. When you oxidize, you gain bonds to oxygen or lose bonds to hydrogen. So there's 3 types of alcohols. This is called a tertiary alcohol. If you take a look at the OH and you circle the carbon that's attached to the OH, there will be 3 different carbon chains coming off a tertiary alcohol. Doesn't matter whether they're 1 carbon, 2 carbons, 20 carbons long, there's 3 different carbons. These don't react. So sometimes an organic chemist doesn't want things to react, or they don't want things to react. So this is what they would use. A secondary alcohol is when you circle the carbon attached to the OH and there's 2 groups coming off. In other words, this OH is anywhere in the middle of the chain. This is called a secondary alcohol. If you oxidize this, so the symbols for oxidation are either O or KMnO4, which you will make is a ketone. There are going to be 3 reactions here that you have to memorize. In this one, you will make a ketone. If you go the opposite way and you reduce this, so the symbols for reduction are R or H in brackets, you will make an alcohol. This is oxidized because there are more bonds to the O. There are 2 there, there are only 1 here. Okay, so that's oxidized. So right here, this is considered 1 reaction. You can either oxidize the secondary alcohol or you can reduce it. Okay, that's 1 reaction. Here comes the next 2 reactions. When you have a primary alcohol, if you circle the carbon that's attached to the OH, you'll have a carbon chain coming off of that. And if you oxidize that, you will make an aldehyde. So where this is a ketone, this is an aldehyde. This was oxidized, meaning more bonds to the oxygen here. If we oxidize this 1 more time, we will get a carboxylic acid. This is where it's important to know all your functional groups. Now we can reduce the carboxylic acid back down to an aldehyde and reduce that back down to an alcohol. Reaction 1, secondary alcohol to a ketone and back. Reaction 2, primary alcohol to an aldehyde to a carboxylic acid and back. There are only these reactions for redox reactions. There are no others. People tend to start making up redox reactions. These are the 3 you have to remember. Dehydration means to lose water and synthesis means to build. So we're going to build by removing a water. These are going to occur between an alcohol and a carboxylic acid. These aren't the only ones, but they're the only ones we're going to do in this course. So it has to be an alcohol and a carboxylic acid. You must remove 2 H's and an O from in here. It doesn't matter whether you take this O and these 2 H's or this O and these 2 H's, but you've got to remove a water. This signifies that water's coming out right here. When the water comes out, we make an ester. Esters are very important in the foods industry. Every food that you eat has esters in it. And this here is an ester. These are artificial flavorings. What you have to remember is if you remove the water between an alcohol and a carboxylic acid, it's called a dehydration, removing water, synthesis to build, and you're building a molecule. If you go in the other direction, if you add water back in, so the water's going back in, this is called hydrolysis. Lysis is to cut. Hydro is water, cutting using water. So what we're doing is we're cutting this bond right here by adding a water in, and we're going from an ester to an alcohol and a carboxylic acid. Folks, this is like your scorecard of the reactions you need to know to be able to do the next level of stuff in organic reactions. So you have to have a scorecard of these 5 reactions.
I try to be very quiet.
I know, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's okay though. You could have been tappity-tapping with this one.
Even when I'm quiet, it's tappity tap.
I'm gonna get you a really nice keyboard. It's okay, honey. I don't make that many videos.
It's very noisy, I know.
That's only 6 minutes out of the day.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'll take your noisy keyboard and you, rather than lose you, and give you a nice keyboard. That didn't make any sense to you.
No.
I basically said I will take you and your noisy keyboard. File is corrupt.
What file?
Oh, I just made a video.
Was it too long?
No, I don't think so. It was only 8 minutes. I think it just, every once in a while it happens. You know, every so often I do what I think is nailing one.
And then it's hard to recreate.
Yeah.